Good. So it seems I have some extra time, which is good because I wanted to give a live demo and you never know what happens. Also, I've told multiple people I will be here at 10 past 5, so maybe I'll see them arrive if I just go over time. So let's start this. So I'm with Xinaps. We have this product called Verified, and I want to show you how it simplifies the BIM Model Checking Workflow. But also I want to show you a bit about basically the workflows between open BIM and proprietary solutions. So this would be cover slide. So you can clash and validate building designs in Verified. I will give you a demo of it. Basically what it is it's a software as a service cloud solution. It's at the core of your project. So in the plan and pre-construct, basically where BIM coordinators and BIM managers would be active. And we've got this situation. This was actually meant to attract investors, but you see, actually, it's quite complicated. What's to take with it? Actually, there's a lot of exchanges going on between different parties. Everything is trickling down. There's a lot of steps where, from different sides, model checking against whatever requirements would be necessary, and we also see that there's actually points where people would expect IFC or like an open BIM request or like standard imposed by the government or by basically exchange with other parties, but mostly people would be working on the proprietary platform. Which takes us to Verified. We basically believe in, with Xinaps and Verified, we believe in connected BIM, which is connect to different CDEs, connect to different platforms, be able to read different file types, open and closed, and then again forward your findings to other parts. So there's different ways where, different types of models we can read in, open, closed, Revit IFC by now also with the upcoming release next week, 3D DWG. You can share models on a CDE. Different ones, we are just adding to those. Actually here I just made an initiative for a Hive, like open, distributed CDE. Different issue trackers, some of them are also present here, like Newformer Connect, BIM Collab, also, and your schedules and quantities you can export. The thing here on top is really really important, I guess, which is what we often don't see in BIM management, actually the file format for requirements, which in our case maybe just a JSON, but also there's IDS, which you've also seen in the presentations before, which is the Building Smart standard for requirements, or at least for the requirements which are about level of information. So here we have like the diagram for the Open BIM Exchange. So the models come in IFC, issues go out as BCF, and on the bottom we've got this IDS requirements. So IDS kind of is the successor to MVD XML, which you may know. The nice thing about IDS is it's much simpler. There's a lot of software parties which are actually picking it up because it's implementable. So the kind of requirements you can express in it would be of the type you express certain properties to be attached to elements, and you want these to be within certain values. So it's not requirements about having an emergency exit sign above every door which goes to the outside, or having a fire extinguisher in every room of a certain kind, but just of that kind. If you look at the Autodesk workflow, and then also what Verified could do with all other types of requirements, you actually see that with standards which are like proprietary and which are not made for exchange, but just from the authoring side, there's much more you can express and do. But also that actually the work in progress situation would be this. So you would get the open BIM workflow in exchange and in dealing, for example, with municipalities for building permits and so on. But you have the Autodesk workflow every day. Like every day you update your model and you want to see actually how does it perform. So, and how does it perform against all kinds of requirements. So with our solution, you can have a hybrid workflow where you can combine, and actually we found ways to easily help people translate the open standard requirements to something which can be applied to both file types and be sent to multiple different trackers. So what this in the end means for BIM coordinators and managers is that you can avoid becoming the bottleneck which operates between different silos of different disciplines, where everything comes together to you, maybe even in a desktop like model checking solution, where you have to validate the data of all the models together, federate them every 2 weeks and send out thousands of issues. But it allows you to basically share the requirements in an executable form on a cloud platform with everybody else in a form where they basically upload their model, press a button, and they see whether they conform. So they can do it on a higher frequency, on a larger scale, in an environment which they do not need to install. They don't even need a powerful laptop, it's just in the cloud. So they can access the same data, the same checks, and it's predefined. Which concludes the PowerPoint part, so now I'm going to open Google Chrome, if I can find it here. Okay, here we go. At least it's faster than starting up Revit, including everything. So I could log on here with OpenID on Microsoft and Autodesk, and probably will add Facebook and Instagram in the future for making yourself known. I'll use my verified login here with my company address. So if you want to send me a mail later on, you could do this. Use this mail. Good. And we're in. So basically, this is the landing page. So we can go to our own project. It's a cloud service, so people work together in companies. They have different roles. Currently, I'm here. I'm a company admin in my own company, or kind of account, it would be called in Autodesk lingo. You got settings and so on, like all these things you know from a cloud application. From here, I directly go to the project. So you can see we connect to multiple CDEs. I'll open actually something from SharePoint, but you see Autodesk, Dropbox, Google Drive, and so on. And more to come. So I go into one of these projects I've prepared just for this presentation. And going to the models, you see in the top left, actually the CDE data as it is on SharePoint. So I can open a model directly from SharePoint, in this case a Revit model, because maybe that is what we just created. Currently it's loading that from the cloud into the local machine here. So it depends on network connection. Actually, we are running the checks in the cloud, but you can the models are visualized in the browser, and we can load multiple gigabytes of Revit or IFC models or like combinations of that into the web browser. So it really depends on the network connection how fast it is. The checks mostly run in the cloud, so you won't have to wait for that. So yeah, actually over here we have a 3D viewer. You probably recognize the toolbar and the kind of navigation cube. On the left-hand side, we've got this menu bar, navigation bar, which is showing the different steps of the process. So first you organize your models. It's where we are now. You combine the different models and load them into the application. Then we have a couple of tools for viewing and classifying, rule-based validation, and reporting any issues. Yeah. It's taking a bit longer than during the demo. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So, and here we got the model. People probably know this one. Actually, it's a variant of this hospital. It's the Corby standard model I got here. So we got a 3D viewer on top, and on the bottom we got the data viewer, which to understand the concept in a way, it is like the 3D viewer. You can navigate these 3D objects. In the data viewer, you can navigate data space and see it from different perspectives. So I've got different presets here. So this is just like a name and like some kind of a D. We can add columns here using this tool. It actually has already knows which kind of properties are present in all the elements here. So we could pick specific ones. So maybe if we want to know something from like a data property set, we can select from properties which are present. We have the columns here. You can save these presets. So I made one for IFC, it's quite empty because we've got a Revit file. I got one for Revit. Currently we've got one Revit file here, so we see more. And what you can do with this is, right now we're looking at the data flat, but then you can group it, for example, by category, just to see what's going on here. So, and we can, for example, color this by category, or we can do it similar by level. So basically this is like a way to get different perspectives on the data. I just want to wait for the colors because they're really pretty. Yeah, here we go. So this would be the whole model by category, or we could do the same thing by, let's say, level. We can also drag around. So maybe you know these kind of interfaces. But we think it's really powerful, this combination, especially because what I want to show later on in this prolonged video, you can also directly create filters from these things you find, and you can add columns from any property in the model. With that, you can create data views, for example, ones which are consistent with the COBie table for components, because COBie has got many tables. Which they also have got many columns, so I just had a couple of here. I added more, but actually what I noticed is that Autodesk doesn't fully support it, because, for example, for identifying from which software this model comes, it would always write Autodesk on the export to Excel, but in the Revit file itself, it doesn't tell that. But you see, actually, from looking at these properties, that a lot of things are not filled in, which brings us to our actually requirements. So we've got this requirement on this project that, let's say, everything should be specified according to COBie, and we have received these requirements for a certain level of information in IDS format. So what we can do is we can go to the rules part, and we can import an IDS file. Which is the part I didn't think about, because I would need to get a USB stick for that. If you agree, may I use this? Okay. So let's import my IDS file. Yeah, actually we want to support also getting this IDS file directly from the CDE. We haven't implemented that yet, but I can import it. So it's coming from this open standard of building smart for requirements. Currently it's processing it, and then it will appear here, unless I misclicked. Yeah, I think maybe I did something wrong. Let me try that again. Open. Yeah, here it is. Actually, it was there twice even. Now I got it twice. Never mind. So it contains all the checks I've got there. I started basically making a couple of checks which cover all the everything COBie. So for the COBie component, I just made checks for all these columns I got here, and I can run it. And it will look like for all the objects which have space, COBie space, component space defined, but it will look for the things which have defined it according to IFC, because it's coming from an open standard. So looking at the rule, we'll see it's looking for COBie component space exists, but like the filter which looks for it, it's looking only for IFC entities. So I could extend this, looking for category. Basically it's equals star, so it's a wildcard, equals everything I can do. Equals star for category as well. So basically I extended the filter to also see all the Revit components. So now I've got this check which is working across Revit and IFC files, and if I rerun it, it's looking for this part. And actually this filter is used by all the components, by the whole component folder, because it's understood that according to the logic of to which objects do these rules apply. So now I can run this rule. I take a bit, it's doing it on everything, so it's, and now actually we get the results. Also they're going to appear in the table. We see also display like which ones have got the name defined and which ones don't. And these rules, actually the rule I've now created, I can share. So if I'm a project manager, I can share it with everybody in the project, I can share it with everybody in a different project, and they can check both the IFC and Revit files. So actually then I've actually made it simpler for everybody else. They can check at any point in time with whatever model they got, latest model and so ever. They can check this. So you see it here, we can again use a grouping. For example, we want to see the results, we want to see, maybe we want to blame people, so we look up work sets. This we maybe don't have it in the IFC file, but we do have it in Revit. So if people worked in Revit and work sets, we can look at which files failed, objects failed on Revit, and then we also group by GIT. So because we have multiple checks here, okay, I'll wait for Verify to catch up with me. Yeah, it wants to build that view first. So I got a network error. Yeah. Stage 6 is a bit cursed, isn't it? Let me see, I could just try that again. So I got this refresh button, maybe that will fix it. No. Good, I'll just load that back in and we'll have another go at it. Good. It seems it's a bit broken right now with the network connection. I've also prepared other rules, for example, for clashes. So I created clashes which were made in just the same way. Wait a second. Yeah. Okay, it seems the network connection is broken. So that concludes the demo. Going back to the PowerPoint, which I think is over here. Yes, it is. Basically, I just demonstrated this step from, we've got basically the BIM Open BIM workflow, we've got the Autodesk workflow and the way of finding a hybrid solution using the connections across different platforms and making it simpler for everyone else and the BIM managers themselves because they are no longer the bottleneck. That concludes it.